What if the silence on Lewis Hamilton's radio wasn't just a glitch, but a glimpse into a system that's collapsing from within? At the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix, under the glitter of royalty and billion-dollar yachts, Formula One's most decorated driver wasn't taken down by his rivals, but by eerie silence from his own pit wall. This wasn't just a miscommunication. It was a strategic meltdown, born from outdated rules, stubborn culture, and a shocking revelation that Ferrari may not be ready for the demands of modern Formula One. When Hamilton asked, "Are you mad at me?" it wasn't just a personal moment, it was a sign that trust between him and his engineer had already begun to crumble. And once that bond is gone, no amount of horsepower can fix it. This script isn't about a bad weekend. It's about a blueprint for disaster, one that could wreck Ferrari's championship dream before it even begins. Frederic Vasseur thought he was bringing structure, discipline, a winning formula. But what he brought to Monaco might have just blown up in Ferrari's face. As team principal, Vasseur is the architect of Ferrari's new era, the man tasked with ending decades of underachievement and turning red cars into world champions again. But in trying to fix the chaos, he may have gone too far in the other direction. Because what happened at the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix wasn't a driver mistake or a technical failure. It was a system failure, a direct result of rules and protocols that Vasseur signed off on. And now, all eyes are on him. When Lewis Hamilton joined Ferrari, he didn't just bring speed. He brought a need for trust, clarity, and communication. But under Vasseur's leadership, the pit wall has become strangely quiet, cripplingly so. In Monaco, the most technical race of the year, Hamilton didn't just lack information, he was deliberately left in the dark. Why? Because of an internal Ferrari rule that engineers can only speak to drivers on straights. And in case anyone forgot, Monaco doesn't have any. That wasn't an accident, it was policy. And while Vasseur stood by that decision post-race, insisting it was standard procedure, the results spoke for themselves. A furious Hamilton, a confused strategy, and a race where silence did more damage than any rival could. This isn't just about a radio glitch or a missed cue, it's about leadership. And in Monaco, Vasseur's leadership was the problem. His rules didn't streamline Ferrari, they strangled it. And for the first time since joining the team, Lewis Hamilton looked and sounded completely lost. Not because he was slow, but because no one was guiding him. What Vasseur sees as structure, Hamilton experienced as sabotage. And now the question isn't whether Ferrari can win a title under Vasseur, but whether they can even function. It only took one miscommunication to derail Ferrari's entire weekend. During qualifying, Hamilton was told that Max Verstappen was on a cool-down lap. That message came directly from the Ferrari pit wall, approved and passed through the same comm system Vasseur has praised as tightened and disciplined. Except Verstappen wasn't slowing down, he was flying, and Hamilton unknowingly impeded him. The result? A 3-place grid penalty that dropped Hamilton from 4th to 7th. At any other track, recoverable. But in Monaco, a death sentence. Hamilton's shot at a clean race, a podium, or even a strategy game was gone. And all because Ferrari's system, which Vasseur claims is built on precision, delivered the wrong data at the worst possible time. This wasn't just a radio slip. It was the first sign that the structure Vasseur is so proud of might be flawed at its core. Once the lights went out, Hamilton was on his own. Through every corner of Monte Carlo's unforgiving layout, he was flying blind. Not because of a malfunction, but because of a philosophy Vasseur enforced. Ferrari's internal rule restricted engineers from speaking during corners, limiting all updates to straights only. And at Monaco, straights barely exist. Hamilton's radio was technically working, but strategically muted. Every time he asked for gaps, targets, or strategy cues, the answers were either vague or delayed. When he demanded to know if he was over a minute behind the leader, his engineer couldn't provide a clear answer. This wasn't a driver losing control, it was a leader's policies causing confusion on the most critical stage of the season. Vasseur built this system, and on Sunday it failed. After nearly 90 minutes of pure concentration, with his mind spinning and answers still missing, Hamilton crossed the finish line in 5th place. Then came the moment that stunned fans across the globe. "Are you mad at me?" he asked over the radio. Silence followed. No reply, no closure, just more ambiguity. And that single question hit harder than any technical issue. It revealed a fracture, not in performance, but in trust. Hamilton didn't just feel unsupported. He felt emotionally disconnected from the very people supposed to guide him. Under Vasseur, Ferrari promised unity. But on race day, the silence said something else entirely. A team out of sync with its star. Fred Vasseur defends his rules as strategic streamlining, but in Monaco, those same rules became a straitjacket. Ferrari's policy to limit radio communications to straights was meant to eliminate distractions. But Hamilton wasn't distracted, he was abandoned. And when Monaco introduced a mandatory two-stop rule for the race, communication became more important than ever. Every lap mattered. Every second counted. Yet Hamilton was left second-guessing his strategy, his opponents, and even his own team's intent. When the team told him, "This is our race," Hamilton had no idea what that meant. Was he being told to push, to manage tyres, to defend or undercut? There were no answers. Vasseur's vision of a streamlined system didn't give Hamilton focus, it gave him fog. While Hamilton was left circling Monaco with silence in his ear, Charles Leclerc soared. He secured another podium, boosting his stock and reinforcing his status as Ferrari's golden child. Under Vasseur, Leclerc has found rhythm, results, and growing influence. Meanwhile, Hamilton, brought in to be the leader, has found confusion and restraint. Internally, it's no longer a level playing field, and whether Ferrari admits it or not, Vasseur is under pressure to choose. Stick with the rising Leclerc or double down on the Hamilton project. But if Hamilton continues to be boxed in by vague communication and protocol, how long before frustration turns to disillusionment? There's a difference between discipline and rigidity, and Vasseur's leadership is starting to look dangerously close to the latter. Hamilton isn't just any driver, he's the most successful in Formula One history. He doesn't need micromanagement, he needs real-time responsiveness. And yet, Vasseur's Ferrari is becoming known for red tape over reaction, for silence over instinct. Post-race reviews are no substitute for mid-race support. By the time Hamilton gets his answers, the opportunity has already passed. This culture of overstructuring may keep errors off the stat sheet, but it's costing them races on the scoreboard. Ferrari doesn't need a manager right now. It needs a racer at the helm. The radio that connects a driver and his team is more than just a tool. It's trust. It's partnership. It's what wins races when the tyres start to fade and the fuel gets tight. And under Vasseur's Ferrari, that radio has become a liability. In Monaco, it became a symbol of everything wrong with the team's internal culture. Fear of improvisation, fear of flexibility, fear of letting drivers do what they do best. Hamilton didn't just lose a race. He lost confidence in the people behind the wall, and when trust erodes, results follow. Monaco wasn't an outlier, it was a stress test. And under that pressure, Vasseur's system didn't bend. It cracked. Ferrari's future with Hamilton depends on more than just upgrades and strategy tweaks. It depends on whether the man in charge can let go of outdated rules and actually listen to the driver who's supposed to lead them. The world is watching, and the clock is ticking. Because Red Bull, McLaren and Mercedes aren't slowing down. And if Ferrari keeps tripping over its own internal policies, it won't matter who's driving. They'll fall behind. This was supposed to be Vasseur's redemption arc. The season he proved Ferrari could be both fast and functional. But if Monaco is any indication, the problems run deeper than strategy. They're embedded in culture, in communication, in the very rules Vasseur created to bring order. Lewis Hamilton came to Ferrari for one reason: to win. But even he can't outdrive silence. If Vasseur doesn't act now, doesn't break the very system he built, he won't just lose races. He'll lose the one driver who could have brought Ferrari back to glory. Frederic Vasseur built a system he believed would bring Ferrari back to the top. But in Monaco, that system exposed its biggest flaw: silence. When Hamilton needed answers, he got echoes. When he needed strategy, he got structure. And when he needed support, he got rules. The most dangerous thing in Formula One isn't a fast rival, it's a slow response. And if Ferrari doesn't change, they won't just miss out on a title. They'll watch the greatest driver of a generation fade into frustration under their own roof. This isn't just a racing problem, it's a leadership crisis. And it all starts with Vasseur.